Hello, everyone. Welcome to your podcast, The Four F's, where we talk about faith, family, finance, and fulfillment. And for this episode, I am here in my city, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I've got a special guest joining me all the way from Los Angeles, California, down the United States. My good friend and colleague, Frank Vidal. Not Frank and we work in the same industry, in the same company from different countries. And over the time, we have developed a great friendship. And today, for this episode, we partnered together to bring some value to you. But before we get started, definitely I want to give Frank the opportunity to say something to you, introduce himself. My brother, go ahead, take it over.
Rommy, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to have the opportunity to be here today. We've been talking about doing something, collaborating, and bringing some value to people. And I'm super thankful that that time already arrived and we're here delivering some value today. So, like Rommy was just saying, my name is Frank Vidal. Coincidentally, we are from the same country. We never met in Dominican Republic, but here we are. I believe that people who are meant to meet, they will eventually meet, and here we are collaborating together, delivering value, and doing something for the greater good. Because I believe that we all have something to do to bring something to others, and here we are today to be able to do that. So, yes, original from Dominican Republic, living Los Angeles, California, like Romeo stressed, and I am in the financial industry just like him, so we're colleagues, and been here in the industry for about 6 years, and it has been awesome, really great experience,
Yeah.
so very
Great
excited
leader in
to
the
be here.
company, one of the senior managers, definitely having some sort of success down there. So, man, that's why I'm excited, and that's the reason why I was able to bring you here, because I saw that this man is doing great things down there in the South. So, but man, for today, let's get into it. We want to be talking about something that most people out there, the average individual out there, they don't talk about often. And we want to be able to bring you some value on that. So today's episode, we call it Get Real or Stay Stuck, right? So that's the truth about chasing success. And this discussion that we're going to be having today is inspired by a must-read book that we recommend to everyone because it's a very special book in our industry, in our company, that we all hold dear to our hearts. And it's called The 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. And one of the things that I love about this book is that this book expands and talks about the different type of people, and it kind of classify them into type of mindsets. The world class, middle class, and other class. Not because of the size of the bank account, even though actually their mindset is reflected in their bank account. And for this episode, we're gonna be bringing value to you, and we kind of talk about bringing it into 4 points. Breaking things down into 4 points that we believe that if you pay attention and if you put this information into practice, it can potentially change your life. So for that, I'm going to have Frank to bring the first point to you guys and to share. I know that he's going to get it out the park. So my brother, go ahead, just take it over from there.
All right, thank you so much, Romy. So let me tell you, for everybody listening, if we hit you, we didn't mean to miss you. This is something that it should be a reality check to everybody. This should be something that you say, "Oh my gosh, he's talking to me. They're talking to me." So this should be an opportunity for you to have a self-assessment where now you say, "Oh wow, I'm the one that is doing the middle class mentality. I'm the one that has that mindset. I'm the one that these points are actually designed to." So let me tell you, good news, because we're gonna tell you exactly what to do in order for you to start changing that behavior. So the first point, Romy, I gotta say, is that the middle class, or the middle class mindset, if you will, because it's not related to money, it's related to the way that we operate. Because if you think the right way, eventually money will be a byproduct of the right thinking. So number one is dreaming big, but acting small. Let me repeat myself. Dreaming big, but acting small. We all have been there. We all have these hopes and expectations, and we all want to be able to accomplish so much, but we don't do anything. You know, and I will tell you that the first point of why we do that is because we're a product of our environment. The people around us have not accomplished nothing before. Therefore, we have nothing to expect. We have no accomplishment, and we're going to be literally doing the same thing. Number two, they don't know how to start, you know, and we get very overwhelmed by not knowing, okay, what's the first step? Tell me what's the first step, Rommy. I want to know how to start. And it becomes a little bit overwhelming, and that's why we don't get nowhere, because we don't have a direction. And it goes on my third point, which is no guidance. You know, in our business, we talk about something called the GPS, you know, your financial GPS. Like if you go here at a certain time, you're going to get here. You know, if you make these decisions, if you start building these habits, you're going to get at this position. So when it comes to achieving success, you have to have some sort of guidance. That's why it's important to have someone who has accomplished the things that you already accomplished. That's why sometimes you have to get outside of your comfort zone, you know? So no guidance is the third point. The fourth point is fear of failure. Let me tell you, we get so frozen. We froze, you know, paralysis by analysis, because we start thinking on the negative things and the negative outcomes. But how about if it actually works? You're listening to me right now. What about if that thing that you want to accomplish, that thing that you want to do, that you have right inside of your heart, that desire that you have, what about if it works? Against all odds. What about if it works? Number 5, we have lack of priorities. We start giving time to everything. And if you have time for everything, you have time for nothing. A successful person is consistently doing one thing until successful.
Yeah.
So if you're one day doing this, the next day doing that, the next day doing the other thing, you're not going to be in positions where actually you're going to dedicate all your energy and effort to that one thing that you want to accomplish. That it kind of trickles into my last point, and it's the lack of focus. Being able to put your head down and work for uninterrupted time is key for you to become a successful person. And that's what's happening with the middle class mentality. That's the reason why a lot of people are not making the jump into the next level. That's why they stay in the life they don't want, and they never get to the life they want. That's why they dream big, but their actions are small. Yeah, wow. And let me tell you, a lot of people want to become the CEO, but they don't want to work like the CEO. Or some people call it, some people want to go to heaven, but nobody's willing to die. What do you think about that, Roman?
You know, brother, definitely you hit it right there on the head. You know, normally one of the things that, and I'll tell you something, you know, I want to bring it down to some people out there. You know, we're not talking from a perspective that, you know, that we're the good and you're the bad, that we're the perfect and you are the imperfect, you know, all the imperfect individuals. But the difference is that one group they realized where they were at. They were aware, and they just now decided to make the necessary adjustments. And also by surrounding with the right type of people that could point that. But one of the things that I noticed also, Frank, with you know, the middle class mentality. By the way, I have a quick story that it just happened to me not long ago. You know, I call it the disconnect. There's a disconnection between what they want versus to what they have to do in order to get to what they want. You know, it's like a person that wants to be at the NBA but doesn't show to the practice. It's kind of ironic, right? So they want to become a successful person in any arena of their lives, but they're not willing to do the work that precedes that success. I'll tell you something quickly, you know, and for this person, that it's very dear to my heart. If you happen to watch this episode, just take it as a love story, not as a hate story. It's a family member, by the way. That she lives down in the states, and recently started talking because our community, our team is right now, aggressively expanding into the U.S. And we started having that conversation, and she said to me, "Man, I see that what you guys are doing, it's great. But I tell you something, I want the money, but I don't want to work hard. I want the money, but I'm not willing to do what you're doing." And I'm like, then you're not going to get what you want. So in order to get what you want, you must be willing to do the things that you've never done before. So pretty
You're
much
right.
that's the big disconnection that we see within the middle class thinking. They want to do something big. I mean, they want to be big, but not willing to pay the price. And thank you that you gave me the ball, brother, because now let me just connect that to the second point that I believe also creates that type of mindset, and they stay stagnant and they don't move forward. And the point number two, it's what we call that their low expectation leads to low effort. That's one of the reasons why many people within the middle class thinking, they don't do much. It's because they don't expect to get there, right? They don't see themselves doing something. That's why they don't correlate their efforts, because they don't even see themselves. And one thing that you mentioned already in the point number one, their environments. The environment that most people out there, it's people that they haven't accomplished anything, but also those are the people they don't expect to do something big. And as a matter of fact, some of them, Frank, they even think that succeeding in doing something big is an evil thing. And imagine now that if you surround yourself with individuals like that, you absorb the standards of those individuals, right? And it's sad. It's sad. If you don't expect much in life, you're not gonna go work for it, right? And that's something that is killing the people out there, right? So they don't believe that they deserve to be successful. They don't think that the people around them could be able to support them. They don't think that, man, this is something for me, and they don't even believe in themselves. And that's why, Frank, I believe the environment. You and I, we follow a great leader, which, by the way, you happen to be part of his organization, Ed Milet, and he says your environment overrides everything. Your environment overrides everything. So you could be the right person in the wrong environment. That environment could be the one bringing you down. And if you could be a person with low expectation and you get to a group of individuals, you surround yourself with people that they expect big things in life, that automatically, kind of bring you to that point. It's slowly, but you get to that point that you start expecting things from yourself, and you start to believe. And that's the key word, believe. If people don't believe that they could do something, they don't get to action, right? So they don't get to any action. So that's how the work class the middle class they operate. So having said that, Frank, I'm not gonna take too much on those points, because we want to bring value in the short time. I want to be able to switch now, shift gears, and show you the contrast, okay, of the two type of mindsets. The one that is by the middle class, and which, by the way, they make up about 70% of the population. That's kind of crazy. Yeah? The majority of the population happen to be thinking at that level, the middle class thinking. And so let's kind of shift gears a little bit here. So let's talk now on how the people that are winning at big levels, they think. So Frank, why don't you get us started with the third point, and man, just bring some value there.
Well, Romy, every single point that you touch was right on the head, on the nail. So, and so it's important to understand that the middle class operates in a certain mindset, and again, I cannot stress this enough. When we talk about middle class, we're talking about socioeconomics. We're talking about mentality. We have to be very clear on that, Romy, because some people will say, "Oh, are you rich?" No, but the idea is that we are operating on the space of being there. you know,
Yes,
because you
100%.
attract who you are, you know. So now, with that being said, let me tell you that the next point is that champions operate with high expectation.
Actually,
Champions,
the whole opposite, huh?
it's the opposite of everything we were mentioning before, you know, because you were mentioning about Ed Milet earlier, and something that that just came to mind. Ed Milet always says, operate from the space of imagination, not history. You know,
Forward, no
because
pass.
exactly, because if you base it on the things that you haven't done, you will never achieve the things are that you never done, if you will. So let me explain. Somebody one day said, I want to put a plane up in the air. If they were basing on the fact that nobody has done it before, there will not be a plane today.
Yeah.
You know, like being able to going from Alberta, Canada, and coming all the way to Los Angeles, California, in a plane. You know, so that's why operating from the space of imagination of what's capable or what's obtainable, it will open the door for so many different things and so many different accomplishments. So now, with that, I will segue into my points. My first point of why champions operate with high expectations is because they have a previous winning experience. They're winners. Whatever winning background you have, you will translate that into the next thing. If you're playing basketball at your church and you're winning and you're like, you have that winning instinct. If you go into business, if you go into parent, if you become a parent, if you become a pastor, if you whatever you want to do after, you can translate the same level of skill set and mindset into that. So every person who has winning experience before, is expecting to win on everything else they do. So that's important to understand. Number two, mentors. They find someone who had actually accomplished what they want to accomplish. Somebody who gives them a roadmap. Somebody who gives them a very breaking down all these different steps on how you're gonna accomplish that goal. Number three, no fear of failure. Man, that's my badge of honor, and I'm pretty sure that that's your badge of honor. You know, like if I had to fail 1,000 times, 1,000 times I will fail, because I know that at some point I will run out of things that I've done wrong, and eventually all the right things will come.
Yeah.
Will Smith, he says, fail early, fail often, fail forward. If you fail early, you're already getting your mistakes out of the way very early in your career, so you don't have to suffer down the road. Number two, fail often, because the more often you fail, the more tries you're having at this thing. And number three, fail forward. Every day you fail, you're moving a little closer to your goal, because we have this negative connotation that failure is death, that failure is shame, that failure is wrong. Well, we have to understand that failing will allow you to get closer to your goal, and that on itself has to be like your badge of honor. Number three, willing to do what others won't do. Man, I'm telling you, hey, you have to do 100 calls. Do I have to do 100 calls? Oh my goodness. All right, cool. A winner will actually do it. A winner will say, all right, if this is what it's going to take, I'm going to do it. If I had to walk from here to Alberta, and that's the recipe for success, I'm going to do it. If you understand that, there's a quote that I saw on social media, Rommy, that says, a bus has 100 seats, okay? But a Lamborghini only has 2. You know? So in order for you, granted, in your journey to success, that just shows you that you cannot take everybody with you. That's number one. But number two, these people, these Lamborghini drivers, if you will, are willing to do what the bus riding people are not going to do. So that's why
100%.
you're going to get what other people won't ever get.
Yeah, man. 100%. 100%.
And my last point, they will make decisions that are aligned to their goals. If I know today, always you're gonna have a fork in the road. If I take this route, it's gonna get me closer to my goals. If I take this route, it's gonna take me closer to my goals. If we operate from this point, we're always going to do things based on the person that we want to become. If you want to be a good father, are you taking decisions? Or are you making decisions that are going to enroute you to being a good father? If you want to be a good business owner, if you want to be somebody who has good savings, is somebody that is of faith. At the end of the day, whatever decision you make, every day you're going to encounter a position where if I take this route, is it going to get me closer to my goals? If the answer is yes, keep going. If the answer is no, why to do it?
Yeah. You know, Frank, recently I just finished reading a book that it talks about, that your goals are on the other side of the failure, pretty much. Your goals are on the other side of the failure. And one of the things that this book teaches is, like the yes is the destination, no is how you get there. People, when they think about success, they often actually, it's kind of a funny analogy here, because they see success, you're standing on the fork right now, and success on one side and failure on the other. And what people, they do, okay, I'm gonna run in the road to success, and that's what they think, actually. And when they get to any certain failure, no, I think I took the wrong route, so let me just go back and hit the other one, because that's the other one that's gonna lead me to success. But no, actually, the way that you get to success is because you fail. And one of the things that I've learned is you fail big, and on top of failing forward, fail faster. Fail faster. So, man, definitely I love those points, and that's how the world class, they operate. They expect things to happen, and they know that what they want is bigger than any setbacks, any failures, any no's, any criticisms, and any insecurities of other people. So that's a one thing that pretty much identifies and shows what the level, of performance of the world class is. So let me just quickly now jump into the last point. And I don't know if you notice here that every point that we're talking about right now is a contrast of the first one. So Frank, he just talked about right now that the world-class people, they operate from a high point of expectation, which is the opposite of what I talked in point number 2, that they have a low expectation. That's why they don't work that hard. They don't do much of the things that they're required to be done. So now I'm going to actually give you the contrast of the point number 1 that Frankie just talked about, that the middle class people, they dream big, but they act small. As a matter of fact, the world class, they dream bigger and they act smaller. You know why? Because they love the grind. And that's my point number 2. They love the grind. And there are benefits of knowing why you are in the grind. I noticed that Frankie touched on some of those points. And I believe now, pay attention to everything that has been said. If you have to go back to this episode and just read it and listen to it a few times to dissect and take notes on the points that they were expanded here, do them. Okay, so the world class, they expect the grind. They don't shy away from it because of, I'm going to give you 2 angles, okay? Just 2 angles for today. Why the world class, besides knowing that their yeses after the no's, that the no's are the things that they most hear, and the setbacks are the things that they most experience before they get to the yeses and successes, that's why they're going to do that. But also, world-class people, they are not perfect. They are in constant improvement. And one of the things that I would say to you is, Frank, that the world class, they love the grind, because when they go through a tough time, those tough times, those challenges, those setbacks expose some of their weaknesses. I'm gonna give you a quick example here right now. Okay, so let's say you have two people uh, in the same spot, same scenario, but two different type of mindsets. Okay, the number one, let's say you have a middle class person that starts a business. He goes out there, starts pitching the business to people, trying to raise a capital. For example, a traditional business, try to get you some money raised for his company, or maybe he's got an opportunity. He's got to pitch it to people out there. And now he pitches the opportunity to people, and he gets rejection. Bang. People saying, man, I don't like what you're saying right now. I don't like whatever you have. Man, that's not for you. Just, don't tell me that, okay? You know what's happening, Frank, with those people most of the time? They go back crying. They say, man, that doesn't work. That's not for me. I'm not meant to be the person that I am, that I am thinking of to become. No, this is not for me. And as a matter of fact, they might be actually quitting and do something different. And that's how the middle class operates. They are not there to withstand the tough times. They want it easy all the time. As a matter of fact, before actually I jump to the second point, that's why, Frank, you know what? The middle class mentality people, they have developed this mentality of easy things. That's why a lot of people, they get scammed, because that's what they want. They want easy things, right?
Make money quick, baby.
They make money quick with the least amount of effort.
Yes.
Make it big with the least amount of effort. So the world class people, they operate different. So let's say now you have the middle class person that they pitch their product, they pitch their business, they pitch their idea, and they got rejected. They got nailed down. They go back crying and they quit because this is not for me. But now let's give you a different perspective. Now you have the person in the same scenario, but a world class thinker. Okay, he goes out there, he gets the pitch to the people, he pitches, to investors, he presents the product, and then boom, he gets the same rejection, maybe even worse. Okay, he's not articulating the idea, the business, the opportunity, the product the way that it should have been articulated, so that's why he got rejected. You know what he does? Most people like that, they go back to the lab and they start asking, oh, it didn't work. Why that didn't work? Maybe because I didn't say what I was supposed to say here. Maybe because I didn't do the proper research. Maybe because I was not as enthusiastic as I presenting what I should have presented. And you know what they do? They fix those weaknesses. They course correct. They, adjust and course correct. And now when they go the second time, they get better. Maybe they might not get it the second time, but they keep on improving. They keep on getting better. They keep on, getting things sharper. And by the time you hear, no, boom, a yes, and they make it to success, which seems to be an overnight. No, it's because they've been sharpening. They've been getting better. So that's the difference. And that's one of the angles that most people, they don't understand how the world class operate. And that's why they embrace the challenges and they embrace the grind. Point number two, or angle number two that I would say, is that this is how, Frank, they test how committed they are. As a matter of fact, trials and tribulations, I'm a person of faith. That's what we say all the time. That's how you taste how committed, how faithful you are to God. And it's the same way. You just move that into a different arena. The challenges, the rejections, the failures, it's going to put your commitment to the test, how bad you want it. And world-class people, they put themselves in the test. And actually, that's how they gauge how bad they want what they want. And they analyze, man, if I'm getting better, if I don't give up, if I, don't get emotional for what just happened to me, it's because I want it bad enough. So that's a test, man. That's a test of the type of mindset that they have, because they want it bad enough they're willing to endure. They know that their success is on the other side of failure. So, that's one of the angles that I wanted to bring you. So they see that if, when they get to tough times, they course correct because that exposes their weaknesses. And also they do that because that's how you can test, how bad you want to succeed in life. So, Fran, do you have any thoughts and comments about that?
Well, let me tell you that at the end of the day, like you mentioned, your test will become your testimony.
Yeah.
Whatever situation that you're going through, I promise that one day that's going to be you telling somebody on how they can overcome the same obstacles that you all just overcame. Ed Maled, again, talking about Ed Maled. Shout out to you, Ed. He says that we are the most qualified to help the person that we used to be.
Man.
If you were not winning before, and now you're winning, you can be a testament to people who want to start winning. If you overcame addiction, you can be a testament for the people who are going through addiction. At the end of the day, your situation is going to be a demonstration that things are accomplished, that you can accomplish things. So, yeah, I believe that today was a really good day. I enjoyed myself. So thank you so much, Rommy, for the opportunity.
100%, brother. Definitely a great time, and I hope that you get to watch this episode completely. This 30-some minutes of episode right now that we just have for you guys. I hope that you get a lot of value to it, from it, and that you share with other people. So that's one thing that I want to say to you guys. Please go and follow Frank. Frank Vidal, the way that you see his name there, Frank Vidal. Go check him out on Instagram. Follow him. Follow my boy. And also, go and follow me in my Instagram. Follow also this episode, this podcast, and share it with your friends. I believe that if you put into practice what we just talked about, it's just a matter of time. It's not a if, it's a when. When your moment is going to come. So I encourage you guys, go out there, work hard for your dreams. And I'm going to quote something that I learned from one of the coaches that we call the hemp coach. Find something that you believe in and put your life and fight for it. So having said that, God bless. Good to have you here until the very end of this episode. And looking forward, Frank, not to just this episode, but to many more. All right? So having said that, guys, God bless. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.